Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and you hate to see it. This is truly regrettable news. If you are an XRP validator, you are a broker, so says the United States federal government, effectively. Now look, what I'm talking about here is language that's inside of an infrastructure bill that is yet to be passed, but may pass, potentially today. But unfortunately, amendments in this bill pertaining to crypto got squashed. And so here's a headline from Bloomberg. Outgunned crypto lobbyists falter in bid to fix broad tax rules. Yeah, that's the understatement of the century. It's astonishing what has happened. And it's a bunch of people, in Congress that just don't know what the hell they're doing. They seriously, they are actually regulating technology that they definitely do not understand, which is going to have a tremendous ramification, certainly in the United States, but that will reverberate throughout the world. It's the United States, after all. The hope is not lost, and I'll explain why. But this is not looking good. And for sure, there will be no amendments that would be favorable to crypto. That's definitely not happening. And then there was also this story I wanted to talk about. This is a headline from Crypto Newsflash. SEC makes the first DeFi settlement against blockchain credit partners. And so I mentioned this story the other day, and it's so crystal clear to me that Gary Gensler's SEC is not going to look that different from Jay Clayton's SEC. If anything, they're ratcheting things up and just going after everyone that they can, and it really looks like a tremendous and ridiculous power grab. But I want to be clear at the outset, I don't have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who makes YouTube videos as a fun hobby, but that's all that's going on here, damn it. And so into this piece now from Bloomberg. Cryptocurrency lobbyists were caught ill-equipped in one of the first legislative battles for their nascent industry, despite a Herculean push that impressed Washington insiders with its intensity. Yeah, and by the way, that is true. I want to pause to acknowledge that. And props to everybody as a crypto community on the whole for coming together. That's no joke. It was, as tribal as crypto is, because humans are humans, everybody came together and was rightfully bitching up a storm. And it was noticed. It was absolutely noticed. Unfortunately, in the end, as you know, we didn't get the proposed amendment that we wanted, but hey, again, not over. So anyway, the piece continues, though. The industry failed to win a change to crypto tax reporting rules in the infrastructure bill on Monday, leaving intact language for broad oversight of virtual currencies in the legislation that's poised to pass the Senate. The amendment, with sponsors including Wyoming Republican Cynthia Loomis and Virginia Democrat Mark Warner, would have walked back new tax reporting requirements for crypto firms. It was designed to address concerns from the cryptocurrency industry that the bill would require entities like miners and software developers to report tax data to the Internal Revenue Service that they didn't have access to. And it's still, let me pause there. That's the part that is disgusting, kind of funny. It would be more funny if it weren't actually legitimately harmful, that they're actually, via this law, they're insisting that participants in the crypto space collect information that it is impossible for them to collect in order to continue doing what they're doing. And the people that implemented this had no idea that was the case. They're just a bunch of idiot sticks implementing law and technology that they don't understand. And so anyway, the requirements, projected to raise about $28 billion in revenue, had been included as part of the Senate's $550 billion infrastructure package. And in the end, the crypto industry's lobbying, public outreach, and even tweeted prayers weren't enough. The last-minute amendment required unanimous consent, which means support from all 100 senators. And when Alabama Republican Richard Shelby objected, the fight was lost, at least for now. Yeah, and so, to be clear, there have been people on the left and the right that have just been ridiculous when it comes to this. And I've been highlighting them, especially over the last few days. So this is one curmudgeon here, Republican Richard Shelby, but there's people on the left and the right. So the idiocy is not confined to just one political ideology or party. That's for damn sure, as it pertains to crypto. But anyway, the piece continues. While industries like banking, housing, and pharmaceuticals have long-standing ties to lawmakers and lobbying operations, sometimes backed by 8-figure bankrolls, the cryptocurrency industry is just making itself known in the halls of Congress for the most part. Bitcoin, for example, has fervent enthusiasts, but it has existed only since 2009, and many voters still don't know much about it. Unlike other industries where there's a bank, real estate agent, and pharmacy in every district, lawmakers can't always point to a constituent who supports cryptocurrency. Yeah, and so that's why if you've been following me for a while, then you'll know that I've talked about this idea of the importance of lobbying Congress. And Ripple is actually, quite literally, the largest lobbying entity in all of crypto. And even then, it's still a drop in the bucket. I think it may have been for the calendar year of 2020, if I'm not mistaken. I think they spent somewhere in the neighborhood of about $700,000. You can Google it and find out for sure, but I think that's correct. And still, that's not enough. And most entities out there they're not lobbying. But this is how you get stuff done. Like it or not, if you want to get stuff done, you need to lobby. And there are the reasons to like and not like the idea of this. But either way, if you want to play ball, this is absolutely what you do. And I'm just not seeing it sufficiently done here. And then you run into crap like this, But here's a quote now. What the industry was able to do once it was up against the ropes was impressive. But from a tactical perspective, the goal is to avoid getting pinned up against the ropes altogether, said Isaac Boltansky, a policy analyst with investment firm Compass Point Research and Trading. Crypto advocates say the Senate defeat shows the need for more organization and money as the burgeoning industry increasingly catches policymakers' attention. At issue was a so-called pay-for included in the Senate's infrastructure package that Congress's official tax scorekeeper said would raise the $28 billion over the next decade. The provision would require some cryptocurrency companies to provide a service effectuating the transfer of digital assets to report information on their users, and some other financial firms are required to do in an effort to enforce tax compliance. And so right there, that's the part that is going to harm the XRP ledger specifically, and all of crypto, to be fair, of course, but specifically here with the validators. Anybody operating a node, nope, not in the United States. That's gone. Just do that in other countries, not in the United States, or else you're going to be in violation of law, a law that you can't comply with. It's impossible to comply with it. And so a crypto supporter said the provision's wording would seem to apply to companies that have no ability to collect data on users, such as cryptocurrency miners, and could push a swath of the industry overseas. Exactly. It's the end of innovation in the United States. This is actually a big deal. And so the provision caught lobbyists by surprise and spurred a heated grassroots effort. Fight for the Future, a non-profit digital advocacy group, created a website that it said helped coordinate tens of thousands of calls to lawmakers. Senior crypto executives such as Square Inc., Chief Executive Officer Jack Dorsey, and Coinbase Global Inc. CEO Brian Armstrong tweeted in support of changing the provision. When it became apparent that the only road to victory was a unanimous consent vote, crypto lobbyists tried to coordinate to gather intelligence from all 100 Senate offices to ensure that no lawmaker would object. Yeah, and so, you know what? It's the icing on the cake to all of this is like the federal government doesn't even need the additional money. They just want to take it anyway. Like, they're literally printing trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. They're taking in crazy amounts of revenue. I've been highlighting that in some recent videos. There's no shortage of money coming into the Treasury. That's for sure. They're just spending out of control. That's what it is. And now they want even more. And they never do with less, but they want you to do with less. That they do. They want to tax you more and take money from you and reduce the purchasing power of your dollars by printing more dollars. Inflation, my friends, it's a real thing. Really grinds my gears, folks. Here's another quote. We've known for a long time that we are under-resourced and understaffed, said Blockchain Association Executive Director Kristen Smith, who said her advocacy group last year had a budget that was about 1% of that of the American Bankers Association. What the crypto industry has woken up to is that they need to invest in Washington. That's a quote from Kristen. Now, the Senate is expected to pass the infrastructure bill on Tuesday morning. Crypto advocates will have a chance to change the provision in the House of Representatives when it takes the bill up in September, but could face an uphill climb due to procedural issues. And then the lobbying battle will move to the IRS as it writes rules to implement the law, a process that could take years. Some lawmakers have said that they don't interpret the crypto provision to encompass as many companies as the industry fears. Well, I think that everybody's right to fear. Using the word effectuate, Like, if you look up the definition of the word effectuate, it can apply to everything that everybody in the crypto industry is saying it would apply to. It's words mean things. And so, like, look it up. You can absolutely see this. And so if somebody's claiming it's not, they're trying to reduce the fear for their benefit so that we just, pipe down and go away? No. That don't make no damn sense to Moon Lambo. And so, look, even if this goes into effect, if memory serves, the provision pertaining to cryptocurrency, I think it doesn't take effect until 2023. I think that's what I read. I'd have to double check to be sure, but I believe that's the case. And so in the meantime, there are a lot of things that the industry can do on the whole to try and change this. But man, it is quite the uphill battle. But I'm always optimistic for this stuff because in a case like this, it's so absurd that, crypto enthusiasts will not go quietly into the night on this one. This one is really going to be fought for real. And there hasn't been anything like this to occur ever in the history of the crypto asset class, not like this. And so you really are seeing everybody coming together and fighting back against all this BS here. All right, and now this piece from Crypto News Flash, I just wanted to touch on this. SEC makes the first DeFi settlement against blockchain credit partners. The Securities and Exchange Commission has settled its very first case against decentralized finance platforms in the cryptocurrency industry. According to the case published on the agency's website, the SEC made charges against DeFi lender blockchain credit partners. Additionally, the watchdog charged the company's top executives, Gregory Keogh and Derek Akri. Allegations were that they made fraudulent offerings, selling over $30 million in unregistered securities using smart contracts. So look, here's the SEC now trying to take on decentralized finance, and I don't think in general they should have much if anything to do with decentralized finance. In general, that should not be within their purview, because look, they're supposed to purely rule over securities. And so if there's a legit argument here that this legit, then they're not just like twisting words. If it's a legit securities offering, that's one thing. But I think they're getting to, it seems to me anyway, that the way that Gary Gensler's speaking, they're going to get into other aspects of DeFi, and it really is a power grab. It's like they're trying to redefine exactly what they can rule over. And I don't like that one bit, which is why we could use some lobbying efforts in Congress to get some clarity surrounding this. But anyway, according to the SEC's order, the accused sold unregistered offerings, M tokens and DMG governance tokens. The sale period through the DeFi money market lasted between February 2020 and February 2021. The SEC states that the now-defunct company sold the tokens without proper disclosure to investors. The digital assets were, for instance, sold despite price volatility. This generated a growing risk of imbalance between the generated income and the amount owed to investors. And so the two Florida men did not admit or deny any wrongdoing, but instead agreed to a settlement. Each of them is to surrender profits worth $12.85 million and an additional $125,000 in penalty fine. And so whether they're right or wrong, I think when you have small entities like this, I think most people would rather just throw in the towel, give up, and go away, make it all go away, than try and fight the SEC, which would financially ruin them. So I think a lot of this, even if the SEC's in the wrong, they're still getting wins and or settling, depending on what the specifics of the case are. So in this case, it's a settlement, and now there's just another project that doesn't exist anywhere. So thankfully, Ripple does have a veritable war chest of money, right? So they can fight back against this thing, but it's certainly not looking pretty. So this is the way that they're choosing to push things. This is the way they want to govern. I'm not a fan. I'll wrap up there, though. I am not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.